Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Bandai Big Hero 6 Baymax Rocket Fist and Mask. You could be like Baymax yourself. Indicated down below, this child is holding the Baymax role-playing fist and mask. I'll show you that, how those all come together in a second. This is recommended for ages 4 and up and comes to us from the folks over at Bandai. The big thing, the Big Hero 6, I should say, is coming to us from the folks over at Disney, and I believe it's being released, I want to say it's around November, so that the movie is coming out. Toys are now going to be starting to show up for the Big Hero 6 property, and I am super excited. Super excited for the movie, and having already looked at the Baymax that we've had a look at with the lights and sounds, that I loved that toy. This is a great opportunity as well for kids to get involved and feel like they're actually Baymax themselves. It does have a launching fist, very similar to what the toy did have. On the side of the package, there's the child right there. And then on the back, it says, "Be like Baymax, launching fist." Luckily though, don't worry, don't be alarmed. It is a foam-covered fist, so it's not going to be like getting hit by a bag of sugar. It's going to be a little bit softer. It is also, well, there's the pull trigger, but we'll show you all that when we get the package opened up. This comes to us from, again, the folks over at Bandai. You can head over to www.bandai.com. And you can also head over to Disney.com as well if you want to check out more from Baymax. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Baymax Rocket Fist and Mask. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. So in this set, you get yourself a mask and you get yourself a fist. The fist has certainly more playability to it. We'll look at that in a second. But you know what? As it goes for masks, it's a pretty nice looking piece. You know, the mask itself kind of reminds me of Bomberman. Remember Bomberman from like the old Nintendo days? It has the same, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but the red, first of all, is more like a tomato red. It's not like a dark red. It's almost got like an orange coloring to it. But very similar to the toy that we were looking at, it's got like these little flecks of almost like a glittering coloring in the plastic itself. And you probably can see it easier when I tilt it that way. You see, like there's a little bit of almost like a glittery fleck to the plastic. As well, there is a purple trim on the ear section on the mask. As well, the mask itself, where the eyes, where the children's eyes, hey, right there, the children's eyes will be looking through, almost looks like it has a smoky plastic to it. It's not a straight clear plastic, a little bit of smokiness to the actual visor itself. Now on the back, with also most masks as well, and I'm glad that they did it here as well, they've put some like rubber supports on the insides. So instead of the mask just sitting completely against the child's face, there's a little bit of comforting support there as well. Also too, with it being rubber, it absorbs, like for example, if you're going to be wearing this mask for a long period of time, you're going to be breathing, you're going to be creating a lot of condensation in there and moisture. This certainly would help as well. There are some adjustable straps, in fact 2 straps, and they are adjustable by Velcro. But you will see on the one side though, there is a smaller section with the hooks, but a considerable longer section with the actual loops to the Velcro, which means you can adjust it all the way to the tightest setting, and it would accommodate a smaller head or, you know, in Spot's case, a much larger head too. So it's a pretty decent looking mask. It's a pretty durable plastic as well. I kind of wish it would light up or something like that, but you know what? I understand with like role-playing pieces, the whole thing with role-playing is that you're going to have kids going out playing in the yard, rolling around on the grass kind of thing with these. You know, you don't want to be incorporating any electronic components in the face section. So, you know, I understand that. So that is the mask, and we'll just put that to the side, and let's have a look at the fist. The fist, again, has a little more going on to it, I think, from a role-playing end of it. The fist is the draw of the set. The mask also just allows you to feel more, more like Baymax. But the fist, and actually as one thing that you saw here, it is adjustable. You can take this section right off, and it snaps just back into place. My guess is you could take it off for if you have a smaller arm, because really, if the child is holding it, the child is going to be holding it essentially like this. Depending on how long their arm is, their elbow, I gauge my big adult sized arm, but really a child's elbow could be further in. That if you had this longer piece added to it, they might not be able to bend their arms very well with the fist attachment. So the adjustment allows you to kind of take that off if need be. The child then would be able to use it, or if you have a child with a longer arm, they would be able just to keep the end piece on. But we flip it around, and you can see how the fist would work. There is a little trigger point right here, a little trigger button right here, and that would fire off this fist. And one thing I mentioned in the package end of the review, luckily the fist is extremely soft. There's absolutely no worries, I would think, that if this was to hit you, not that you would be pointing it towards somebody, don't be pointing it at the neighbor's dog. They're not going to really like that. But at least it's a softer plastic, or softer foam material. Some really nice paint, actually, on the fist, too, where it's a shinier black, and then they've got a more matte orange color. For it being foam as well, I'll just get this piece back on, for it being foam as well, it's pretty seamless. I mean, yes, it is a different color, but with it being foam, painting the foam to match the plastic would be a little bit harder. But I think it's a pretty good transition for, again, it being a different material using on the end. So again, to activate it, you're just going to take your finger, and you'll have to excuse me because Spot's hand is probably a little bit bigger than a child who would likely this toy be geared towards. But you can take your finger and just press the button, and it fires off the fist. At a good considerable distance as well. You can see, yeah, it fires it extremely far. And also, too, when you get the role-playing set, you also get yourself like a little thing in instructions, and it says, punching motion launches fist further or farther. So what that means is, as you're triggering, as you're hitting that trigger, if you kind of make a punching motion, of course you can get a farther distance from the fist from point A to way over there at point B. And again, that fires at a good considerable distance. Even though, despite Spot hates to sound like Mr. Ruin the Party here, but again, because it's still soft foam, shouldn't be pointing it at people's faces. Don't be pointing at, if I am Billy, your next door neighbor, don't be pointing it directly at me like this. Billy ain't gonna like that very much at all. Billy's mother is not especially gonna like that. But you can kind of just have it, put a couple of little cans on the fence. Oh my God, do I sound like 65? Put a few empty tin cans on there, and you can target practice. You can hit some of those cans down. And as well, let me just move these to the side. And just reaching off camera, I really should have actually had this guy with me ready here. You can see how, let's bring in Baymax here, get him to stand. You can see, again, how that coloring, there's his mask, there's Baymax. You can see how the coloring matches very well between the two. If you like this guy, and this guy likes this guy, and you want to pretend like you are Baymax yourself, oh, there goes his fist. This is a fun little role-playing toy to get in, give as a gift, or maybe if you guys have seen Big Hero 6 and you want to get kids something to play around with afterwards, they can, because you know what, it always happens. Kids watch a movie. I've done this too. You go see a movie. I saw Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and right afterwards, I wanted to get a bow and arrow set. It's one of those things that happen. So I think this is kind of a fun little role-playing thing. It's not overly dangerous. You don't have to worry about, again, the fists. Just don't point it at anybody. But it allows you the chance to be, Baymax. Today's Toy Spot, we were having a look at the Bandai Big Hero 6, the Baymax Rocket Fists, and Mask. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way. Certainly, thanks for watching as you always do. See you next time.